another one. This is OARK. This is one of the funds from YieldMax. A couple days ago, of course, I talked on TSLY, which I think a TSLY, which was a Tesla innovation option income strategy. And we've looked at it. We've seen if it was a good fit for you to invest your money. We look at the option that it has. And today we're going to kind of review OARK, which is YieldMax Innovation Option Income Strategy, come from ARK Investing. So we're going to look into a few things: overview, performance, holdings, literature, and purchase, where you can buy this fund. And end of this video, you'll be able to tell if this fund is going to be a fit for you to invest your money, and by how much percentage you can put your money into it. And if it's your first time, just make sure if you like this content, just make sure you like it. And of course, if it's the first time on this channel, please subscribe. And because I talk a lot about these funds and any other funds, and also if you do have suggestion, on funds you want me to talk about or any type of investment, just make sure you leave a comment below. And I'm going to leave a link on the Tesla innovation ETF that I talked a couple days ago. So let's look at the overview first of all. Overview of the fund. What is this fund? It is okay. The YieldMax Innovation Option Income Strategy ETF, or ARK, is an actively managed fund that seeks to generate monthly income by selling and writing call option on ARKK. OARK pursues strategy that aims to harvest a compelling yield, which is it's a huge, while retaining capped participation in the price gain of ARK. So it does cap it, trying to capture the gain, while trying to provide as much income they can generate from writing calls. We look at the current yield right now is about 55.87% as of March 31st. That was just on Friday. And distribution schedule, it does pay dividend monthly. And when you look at the Security and Exchange Commission yield, is zero. And the reason being zero is because there's no underlying stocks, right? And we know ARKK does not pay dividends. It's a growth fund, but because they write call on this one, and it's synthetic way, it's a leverage ETF, so there's no really underlying yield. They generate these yield by using this strategy called synthetic. They use leverage. In short, investment objective. The fund primary investment objective is to seek current income. The fund's secondary investment objective is to seek exposure to the share price of ARKK Innovation ETF, subject to a limit potential investment gains, of course, because they write a call. So whatever they do have, of course, the fund, because you're writing a call, so that means you have to give up your shares in terms of price. You always now going to keep up with the price. The more the price rises, of course, you're missing the growth of that fund per se, because you have to give up your shares because you're writing call on it. That's a way option works. But your main goal is not about growth. It's more you're looking to capture the dividends, right? So you're not looking at potential growth, and that's what most people who are investing in this type of funds, they do understand. And if you don't understand that, then maybe you shouldn't be in this fund to begin with, right? When you look at the fund information, of course, ticker symbol is OARK, and the full name is YieldMax Innovation Option Income Strategy ETF. Inception date when the fund was created or came to the market was November 11, 2022. That was last year, so it's been around only a few months. Of course, primary exchange is New York Stock Exchange, and the NAV ticker symbol is OARK.NV. So when you try to tap down and try to find this fund, in your brokerage account, this is how you can find it right now, and you will find the fund. Expense ratio, look at it, it's about 0.99%, almost 1%, so it's a very high. But also, if you keep getting the same dividend, about 55%, so if you look at 1% minus 55, you still get like almost 54 4.87% minus your thing here, minus your expense ratio. So you still have very high yield as compared to your how much you're paying for you having this fund. Net asset value at this point, it's 10.74 million. It doesn't have as much fund right now because it's brand new, and the price right now is 16.52. Share outstanding, there are over 650,000. Premier discounted 38, closing price is 16.58, so pretty much close to NAV. This is very important for most people who want to, if you want to invest in any fund, you have to look at the NAV, net asset value, as compared to the price. So when you look here, we can see there's only like 6 cents. So this is pretty good, because if they are two different, I mean, you're paying. So the way it works is, if you have NAV, it's way higher than the price you're paying. That means you're paying something that worth. So if you have NAV is more than the price you're paying, that means you get a discount. But if you're paying too much money on your price versus NAV, that means you're paying for something that worth less, right? So you gotta have to be careful. So every time, for me personally, whenever I buy, I go into website, I look at the current NAV, net asset value, which is 16.52, 16.58. It's not a big deal, because only like 6 cents up to few cents, it's okay. But when it comes to $1 and more, then it's a red flag. Median 30-day spread is about 56%, 0.56%. You got to look at the we'll go on another website, we're going to look at the spread and what that means. To know about the spread, this is very important for long-term or short-term investors. You got to look at the spread here. I'll explain more if you stick around. We'll look at the performance. Performance right now, about year to date, is about 3%. When we look at the market price of the fund itself, is 341, because compared to S&P 500, it's pretty close to S&P 500. But when you look at since inception, since November 2022, so that's been about November, December, January, February, and March. Right now is about 5 months. S&P 500 has returned about almost flat, where this is minus 6% down. The fund itself is about 6% down. Look at the dividend history, distribution history, because this is what you're investing your money for. You gotta look at have they been paying their dividends that they're promising us to pay. Yes, they have. January they pay 74 cents, in February they pay $1. That was a big $1.09. So if you had let's say 10,000 shares, you'd have $10,000. That's like a lot, actually. $1, and then in March it came down to 76. So we can look at the distribution here. We can see they a little bit fluctuate. They are not paying, but that's some funds they do this. It always depends on how much they get on that month whenever they write a call, right? When you look at the top holdings, by the way, let's go to another website to look at performance. If we look at the performance, because this is following the ARKK Innovation Fund, but look at the ARKK itself. Year to date has returned about 32%, right? When you look at 1 year though, from April 4th, 2022 to now, it's about 42% down. So it's down a lot. But when you look at the 6 months, during the same time that this fund has been around, this is about 6%. It's only 6%. So it's fairly to say it's okay, because when you look at since November, when it came out, November 22, right here, it was right here about 41. Since then, the fund hasn't returned as much. It's only 6%. But we look at the year to date, since just January, the fund has returned about 32%. So it's a pretty good. We look at the max. We all know ARK went up massively, up to 137, and it came down again. So max altogether is about 97%. So it's a pretty good ARK innovation. So this is one of the things. You can invest in ARK, or you can invest in this fund, whatever you want. But ARK does not pay dividends. So if your primary objective is to get dividends income, then you cannot get that dividend from this fund. But if your primary objective is a growth, you know, and you can bear the volatility of the market of the ARK fund, then this is fun for you, man. 97%. That's a pretty good since inception in 2014 now. That's a long time, but as we can see, a year to date, it's down, so it's still on discount on a year basis, right? But there you have it, performance-wise as compared to its fund. Let's go back to our fund. We've looked at distribution. We've seen it's been paying this dividend, and now we are waiting for April dividend is coming up. We look at the top holding. Look at this. I'm going to this other website actually is described more better when it comes to top holdings. We can see United States is a 40% is a U.S. Treasury bonds, and we can see also so about 80% of this is on a U.S. bond. You can see right here U.S. Treasury, how much they're holding, 49, about 50, about 90% of it. But of course it fluctuates. When you look at the recent data, we can see they're holding about 20% is in US dollars. So they're holding this. And the reason why, I've explained in another video, the reason why they're holding this much cash is because this fund itself does not invest directly on ARK or any underlying fund. They are doing synthetic investment. So they use leverage. You have money right here. You leverage and you mimic the return of that fund. So it's a structure that used in a lot of this type of leverage ETF, and the structure, if you want to go deep dive, you can look at that video, so subscribe that. But if your main goal is to just invest and get dividend, I don't think you have to go. If you want to, you don't necessarily have to know deep dive how they do that unless you're a fund manager. But if you really want to know exactly how they do that and the disclosure and all the information, you can go to literature, which is prospectus on a website, elevateshare.com, and you can look at the prospectus. And in this document, you can see how the disclosure and how they do things. If you want to go into that. And can you purchase this? Yes, you can purchase just as you would purchase any other stocks or ETF in any of your broker that you have, from Charles Schwab, E-Trade, Ameritrade, Fidelity, Interactive Broker, Robinhood, and Vanguard. And of course, if you live in Canada, you can also use your Canadian brokerage to buy this fund. Just you any other US stock or US ETF and funds. And by the way, when it comes to tradability, how can you, when you buy this, let's look at the trade history. How can you trade this guy? When you look at this website here, ETF.com has explained better here, tradability. On a daily basis, it's about share volume is about 20,000 share, over 20 or almost 21,000 share. Average volume is about 334k, 340k. Median share volume is 14k on a daily basis, right? So it's liquid enough that you can buy and sell. When you look at the spread average, is about 59.59%. When it comes to translate that to a dollar, is about 10%. Why this is important? If you are buying a stock, for example, ETF, you look at the spread, bid ask price. If you're paying 10 cents more, and if someone paid less, that means someone who paid less 10 cents has more advantage than you because they've already gained 10 cents. So you gotta look at the spread whenever, especially if you do market order versus limit order. So it all depends. If you put a lot of money, I never go with market order, but if you're just buying for $1,000, it's not a big deal. You can, 10 cents For few shares is not a big deal, but if you're buying a lot of shares, 10 cents times 1,000, that's a lot of money. So that's it. Tradability, so you can buy and sell this pretty good, and there's a all history we have. And um that's it. If you want to know more about this fund, as I say, you can go to on a website. You can look at the literature, and the fund name is OARKK, trade on New York Stock Exchange, and the full name is YieldMax Innovation Option Income Strategy. So if you have any question, if it's your first time here on this channel, make sure you subscribe. I'm going to talk about these funds and more other funds, and if you have any suggestion, please bring them to my attention. Thanks for watching. Till we meet again. Bye bye.